Hey there, it's Ray, and welcome to the In a Nutshell series, where I try to make short summaries of games and other media. For this video, we're doing one of my most favorite indie games ever, an Untitled story released in 2007 by Matty Thorson, who had also created the Jumper series of games, and through extremely okay games would go on to release Celeste. I had some very great times when playing Celeste.
I'm trying to get this strawberry!
An Untitled story was created in the game engine GameMaker 7. I first played this game back in either 2014 or 2015. I honestly cannot remember, but I've had a lot of fun playing this game and have played through it numerous times. This game has 4 difficulty levels: simple, regular, difficult, and masterful. There is a 5th difficulty level named Insanity, which can be unlocked by completing the game with the masterful difficulty level. I will be focusing on the simple difficulty level for this video, so let's do that. The game starts with an egg dropping from a nest. The egg starts its adventure, stopping on snails, fighting bosses, learning new abilities, and increasing its stats along the way. Eventually, the egg reaches Skytown, which generally seems to be a very peaceful town. It traverses through Night Climb to learn how to duck, then goes back to Night Walk to learn how to hatch. The bird then goes through Skytown, purchasing a new ability and some health upgrades. This ability will be useful as they can now jump on red energy clusters. A red bird warns them about the edge of Skytown, telling them that they shouldn't jump off. The bird jumps off anyways. Down here, the bird continues to do things like doing challenges, learning new abilities, increasing their stats, and fighting bosses. The bird eventually obtains their first golden orb. This is important to the game's progress. They then defeat Grotto Eye and go to Blankland through Deep Dive, where they freeze an arrow to get to their second golden orb. The boss fight in Blankland is optional. After getting a few more upgrades, they go to Fire Cage, where they eventually meet Bandit, who essentially tells the bird that they shouldn't be here, but also tells him that he's planning on destroying Fire Cage's security system. With the help of Bandit, they open the gate and go through a room, only to get trapped. Here, the bird fights Fire Machine, which I'm guessing is Fire Cage's security system, and defeats it. Shortly after, the bird goes with Bandit to get their loot. Bandit lets the bird have the loot, which is a yellow energy cluster power-up. As soon as they try to leave, everything suddenly gets tinted purple, and a ghost appears, snatching Bandit and disappearing. Text appears on the screen addressing the bird, telling them that they, along with every other bird, are not supposed to be outside of Skytown, and that if they continuously break this rule, they can and will be caught by the ghosts. This is honestly very terrifying in a way that it seems and sounds extremely dystopian, especially since most of the birds seem very afraid of leaving Skytown. Later on, the bird defeats a dragon in Deep Dive and gets another golden orb, and ascends to Long Beach. I think it's about time I tell you that if you're on any difficulty harder than simple, it is possible for a ghost or more than one ghost to appear and start stalking you until you leave the room. This makes for a mildly unsettling moment. They proceed to walk forward until they run into a girl bird, who is surprised to see that another bird is wandering outside Skytown. She then tells them to come to her place at the end of the beach. The bird proceeds to go to her place, where she allows them in. There she talks with them, stating that she didn't like Skytown that much and that the ghost still wouldn't let her be free, even in a nice place like Long Beach. She then declares that she's building a boat in order to escape the tyranny, and asks the bird if they want to come with her. After she finishes their conversation, the bird heads toward the very uncharacteristic hole in the hill and enters the warp, which leads to a very dark place known as Black Castle. This place will be extremely important to the game's progress. The bird goes through Night Walk and climbs their way up the mountain, entering a very dark cavern aptly named Dark Grotto. During their exploration, they find a journal at an abandoned campsite. It details a mining expedition that was cut short when, after their entrance was reported to have been blocked, the participants were suddenly attacked by a creature. They also give a hint as to what creature this is. It is also possible that the ghosts attacked them. You can find some of the explorers lying dead in the grotto. The bird enters a room and lights the wall candles. The room rumbles, and a red creature named Dark Red drops down from above. This is the creature that attacked the explorers. The bird defeats it and obtains the golden orb. The bird later traverses through the Sky Sand Tower and runs into a hat-wearing bird who thinks that they're after a treasure at the top of the tower. He challenges them to a race. The bird starts going to the top of the tower but is briefly stopped by Sky Mummy, probably one of the most annoying bosses. The bird defeats the mummy and gets to the top of the tower, where the hat-wearing bird gloats over his success and goes to take the treasure, but the ghost puts an end to this and grabs the hat-wearing bird, disappearing. The bird collects the treasure and later climbs the mountain, only to be stopped by a ninja named Shakespeare, who was already showing signs of malice. He threatens to kill the bird so that he will be rewarded by his boss. Instant red flag. They proceed to fight. I find his fighting tactic to be pretty scummy though. He keeps teleporting. The bird defeats Shakespeare and he assures them that they'll fight a second time. He disappears and the bird proceeds to get yet another golden orb. Later, they traverse through Cloud Run, where they fight a machine, who tries shooting them, swoops down at them repeatedly, and shoots missiles at them. The bird uses these to their advantage and defeats the machine, then gets another golden orb. Reading through an entry in the library will reveal that the machine from Cloud Run is actually named Fluffy XR9. It even describes the abilities and weapons it has, things. Other entries include some philosophy or something, arcade game manuals, and a story about how this world is the way it is. The latter states that the birds reigned on the mountain until an evil being and their army of ghosts threatened their existence. Four leaders tried to get their followers to attack the opposing force, but were ultimately killed by them, and the birds put up a huge curtain, hence the name of the area being the Curtain. The sun stopped shining on the mountain, and the birds were trapped, being forced to move to Skytown, not wanting to explore anywhere else in fear of the ghosts. The bird goes back to Skytown to purchase some property and several items to put in it, then traverses through Ice Castle and fights a ball of ice. After defeating it, they collect another golden orb. They then go to Stone Castle and encounter a purple eye for some reason, which they defeat. Then they collect another golden orb and go back to Skytown to purchase the last golden orb. After going through a challenge at Nightwalk and climbing up starry platforms, they encounter a blue ghost, who immediately wants them to play a game, where they find ghostly flowers. Finding a certain amount grants you prizes. After they find all of the ghostly flowers, they go to Black Castle, and after unlocking the gate by showing 5 golden orbs, they encounter Shakespeare again, who warns them that they're in the lair of his boss, ordering them to leave in the usual threatening manner. The bird silently refuses and continues going to Black Castle until they reach the end, where they bounce on the yellow arrow balls and end up in a room with a disturbing visual of what looks like faces screaming. They enter the warp and are now standing on a small platform where it is raining. Shakespeare appears for the third time, boasting about how he's going to finally kill them, taunting them about how he eluded them into feeling hopeful or something. I really don't know, but almost everything he says here sounds derisive. He proceeds to fight them by doing the same teleport spam crap repeatedly until the bird defeats him, at which point he expires. The bird ascends and encounters Bandit and a hat-wearing bird, who are now deceased. Their spirits proceed to give the bird words of encouragement. The bird then starts climbing, avoiding ghosts trying to catch him. Finally, they reach the last room, which has very dark clouds shifting in the background. Here Shakespeare's boss greets them, declaring that their journey is now coming to an end. He then basically outright tells them that they're supposed to stay in Skytown, and that his army of ghosts hate light, even though places like Blackland and Cloudrun are pretty bright in color. Therefore, for his own selfish reasons, he exiled the birds into Skytown and seized the mountain, where the ancestral home of the birds was located in. Seems very 1984, doesn't it? Goodness gosh, everybody wants to kill this innocent bird so often. And so the bird fights the final boss. A cloaked figure appears and throws ghostly purple spears at them. He then throws a bigger spear at the bird, but the bird dodges it and the spear defeats the cloaked figure instantly. For the second phase, 2 purple circles appear and the starry floor disappears. The bird proceeds to ground pound the 2 circles and the floor reappears. For the third phase, a figure lacking arms drops to the ground, shooting lasers and spears at the bird. He proceeds to shoot a bigger laser at the bird, and the bird proceeds to defeat him by ground pounding. The figure's legs fall off and his head flies upwards. The final boss, now tired, can sense the sun coming, so he decides to attack you one last time through a pair of disturbingly realistic looking eye outlines for a minute. The bird dodges them and they're barely moving the entire time. The time runs out and the screen lights up as the final boss is now defeated. The bird appears in a white void and the statue of a bigger bird fades into view. This statue tells the bird that they have overcome the darkness and that they radiate light. The bird statue then tells them to keep going, which is probably another way of encouraging you to aim for 100% completion on either your current save file or on a new one. The game ends with a cute painting of the bird and the girl bird holding hands, looking at the horizon. Well guys, this has been in a nutshell. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you next time.